The Chicago White Sox, a team with a rich history, Hall of Famers, and multiple World Series titles, is coming off one of the worst seasons in Major League Baseball history, finishing with a depressing record of 41 wins and 121 losses. For a franchise in one of the largest sports markets in the country, the performance is glaring. So, what went wrong? Is it poor management, a lack of spending, or just bad luck in player development? Let's dig in. Okay, so the White Sox. Their team's historical highs include 3 World Series championships. They clinched their first title in 1906 against the Cubs, with a defense-oriented squad famously nicknamed the Hitless Wonders. Their second championship came in 1917, defeating the New York Giants. Unfortunately, the team's legacy took a significant hit during the infamous 1919 Black Sox scandal, when 8 players were banned for conspiring to throw the series against the Cincinnati Reds. That scandal left a dark cloud over the organization, one it wouldn't truly escape until decades later. The White Sox finally captured their 3rd championship in 2005, breaking an 88-year drought and solidifying their place in modern Major League Baseball history. Alongside these highlights, the team has seen numerous Hall of Fame players, including Frank Thomas, Luke Appling, and Carlton Fisk, adding to its storied legacy. Yet, despite the highs, the franchise has struggled to sustain consistent success, often falling short of its potential as a big-market team. Ownership of the White Sox has also been a story of evolution. From the Comiskey family, who were synonymous with the team's early identity, to the era of Bill Veeck, known for his colorful promotions, the franchise has often reflected the personalities of its owners. Since 1981, it's been under the stewardship of Jerry Reinsdorf, a figure whose leadership has sparked both hope and frustration among fans. Under Reinsdorf's ownership, the White Sox reached their pinnacle with the 2005 World Series win. Yet, that lone championship in over 4 decades highlights the inconsistency of his tenure. Reinsdorf, a former Internal Revenue Service tax attorney turned real estate mogul, bought the team for $19 million, a relatively modest sum even at the time. His initial acquisition was met with cautious optimism, as fans hoped he'd bring stability and vision to a franchise in need of direction. While the 2005 championship was a high point, it was the exception rather than the rule. Over the years, Reinsdorf's ownership has been defined by a penchant for frugality, often to the detriment of the team's competitiveness. Even the 2005 roster was built on a mid-tier payroll, ranking 13th in Major League Baseball that year. For a team situated in a city like Chicago, this lack of spending has been a persistent frustration for fans. Reinsdorf has also courted controversy throughout his tenure. In the 1990s, he was one of the staunchest owners during Major League Baseball labor disputes, earning a reputation as an anti-union hardliner. His threat to relocate the White Sox in the late 1980s, before securing public funding for a new stadium, created significant tension with fans and local officials. The construction of New Comiskey Park, now called Guaranteed Rate Field, came at the cost of alienating parts of the fan base who viewed the deal as overly favorable to ownership. More recently, Reinsdorf's leadership has drawn criticism for the team's failure to leverage its market potential. Despite being in one of America's largest cities, the White Sox frequently operate like a small market franchise. Payroll rankings over the past decade illustrate this, where they have consistently sat in the bottom half of the league, with their highest payroll coming in 2022 at $203 million, which ranked 7th in Major League Baseball. Beyond finances, Reinsdorf's decision-making has often been questioned. The hiring of Tony La Russa in 2021, despite his extended time away from managing, exemplified this. The team initially thrived under La Russa, and fans saw a glimmer of hope. The Sox finished with 93 wins and 61 losses, making it to the playoffs before losing to the Astros in the American League Division Series. However, that momentum was about to quickly fizzle out. The 2022 season started with plenty of optimism for White Sox fans. Key players like Jose Abreu, Tim Anderson, and Dylan Cease formed the backbone of what many hoped would be a championship-caliber squad. However, a mix of injuries, underperformance, along with La Russa stepping away due to health reasons, resulted in an underwhelming 81-81 record, leaving them short of the playoffs. The season's failure to meet expectations was a bitter pill for fans, as it underscored a recurring theme: high hopes dashed by disappointing execution. Moving into the 2023 season, the White Sox saw the departure of veteran players like Jose Abreu, along with the hiring of an untested manager, Pedro Grifol. The team stumbled to a record of 61-101, and by August, Reinsdorf fired longtime executive Kenny Williams and current general manager Rick Hahn. Chris Getz, their assistant general manager, was promoted to general manager, signaling a shift, but the team's downward trajectory continued into 2024. Okay, now to say 2024 was a disappointment would be an understatement. This year ended up being historically bad. A 14-game losing streak in May and a 21-game skid in July tied the American League record. The team averaged just under 3.1 runs per game, one of the worst in franchise history. Fan attendance plummeted, and chants of "sell the team" became commonplace at Guaranteed Rate Field. By season's end, the Sox had the worst record in modern Major League Baseball history, finishing with 41 wins and 121 losses. Reinsdorf himself acknowledged the team's disastrous 2024 season, stating, "By all measures, our on-field performance this season was a failure. As the leader of this organization, that is my ultimate responsibility. There are no excuses." He also emphasized the need to rebuild trust with fans, saying, "We recognize on a daily basis that it is our responsibility to earn your trust, attention, time, and support. We vow to take that approach daily as we put the work in this offseason to be better." Despite these words, skepticism remains about whether the organization can truly change under his watch. Reports of selling the team, or relocation, dismissed by Reinsdorf as silly, only add to the uncertainty surrounding the team's future. Now, as we enter 2025, the outlook for the White Sox remains bleak. Chris Getz has already signaled that the team won't be major players in free agency, focusing instead on internal development. Getz stated, "We're not going to be working heavy in free agency. We've got guys on the field right now who need to improve their game." Notably, Garrett Crochet has already been traded, further highlighting the team's focus on rebuilding. The Sox have also hired Will Venable as their new manager for 2025, signaling a shift in leadership and organizational strategy. And debatably, the larger issue is whether Reinsdorf, or whoever owns the team next, will embrace the changes needed to restore the franchise. Can they rebuild trust with fans? Will they finally leverage Chicago's market potential? With the 2025 season right around the corner, we will all soon find out. Alrighty, so if you've enjoyed this breakdown, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. We're diving into more sports franchises and stories, and we'd love to have you along for the ride. Let us know your thoughts on the White Sox in the comments. What do you think it'll take to turn this team around?